Neil Gaiman denies sexual abuse allegations. I don't accept there was any abuse. Now, uh, I don't know if you two recall what was said in the last stream about his allegations.
Yes, it was very
Yeah,
hard to get through.
yeah. Like it makes it very hard for me to remember the Fifth Amendment. He has his right to his story, and I want the truth more than anything. But if he did these things, I don't give a shit. Um, what he says. If it comes out that it was force on these women, and it wasn't consensual role playing situation, that they're just taking out, they're trying to now use it against them. Um, I have no pity for this type of thing. It's like I've seen some horrible shit. I have no words for it that can be said. Like I'm afraid to say what I really want to say live on stream. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, in my opinion, some of them are bitter bitches that decided they're gonna get them because maybe cut them off the money and
Mm-hmm.
or the relationship went bad. But I believe some of them are absolutely true. I mean, from what information I have, that's my take on it.
And it could be. I mean, it could be. I try to remember like there's those women that string uh false accusations and people went to jail for it. And then there's some that are actually have done these horrible things. That's why I say I want to try. I'm trying hard to stay within the his right to respect the Fifth Amendment, while at the same time not trying to downplay the seriousness in case it was true. But in either event, the I have a hard time believing this was made up.
It says here after New York Magazine released an interview with one of his accusers, Neil Gaiman finally responded denying any abuse occurred. New York Magazine detailing graphic and horrific details on her claims of sexual abuse against the American Gods writer. Part of the
I'll be
odd
right back.
situation Part of the odd situation about Neil Gaiman's story is how these details have been well known for nearly a year because of the work of Tortoise Podcast and Fandom Pulse detailing the abuse allegations against Gaiman. Moreover, women have been warning about Gaiman for years, with 9 women now making allegations about him. And
Okay,
here,
so
he's the advocate feminist supporter.
women have been coming and telling people
Or
about
I
him
should
for
say,
years.
he was an adamant feminist supporter.
Oh,
Yes, for years. Over the past few months, this is his words. Over the past few months, I've watched a story circulate the internet about me with horror and dismay. And I'm skipping bits of it because it's long. I've now reached a point where I feel I should say something. I have engaged in non I've never engaged in non-consensual sexual activity with anyone ever. These messages now read as they did when I received them of 2 people enjoying entirely consensual and sexual relationships and wanting to see one another again. At the time I was in those relationships, they seemed positive and happy on both sides. And I realized looking through them years later that I could have and should have done so much better. I was emotionally unavailable while being sexually available. I've spent some months now taking a long, hard look at who I've been and how I have made people feel. Like most of us, I'm learning and I'm trying to do the work needed. And I know that's not an overnight process. Now, it sounds like
uh-huh.
he's denying everything, but it also sounds like, oh, he's been caught and it's a half-ass apology. So, what do you make of it?
He's denying it without denying it all at the same time.
So he says, at the same time as I reflect on my past and as I re-review everything that actually happened as opposed to what is being alleged, I don't accept there was any abuse. Some of the horrible stories now being told simply never happened, while others have been distorted from what actually took place and they bear no relationship to reality. That and okay, his response I think is vague. for one. Also, it sounds full of guilt to me.
Is this a written response or a spoken response?
I believe it is written. Yeah, in a post titled "Breaking the Silence."
Okay. Then he didn't write that. Somebody
Oh,
else
yeah.
wrote that.
Well, by trade, he is a writer, so it could have been him. I mean, okay, let's say uh, PR, public relations of some sort, wrote it. They wouldn't have made the part where he sounds guilty. If you think about that.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, yeah, he could have wrote it, but I don't know. I mean, those allegations, I don't think those women made that shit up. I just don't. It's just, you know, and come to find out women have been speaking out trying to get him to face some kind of justice for years. And I bet what happened is a bunch of women got together, and over time they each one separately tried to say something, and nobody would believe them, and then they got together and did it together.
You know
Maybe
what's
that's what
bad
happened.
is how many of these people go along their whole careers or their whole
Sorry
lives
about
and
that.
they
My neighbor
never
was
get
returning something he borrowed from me.
caught like this or caught up with enough. I mean, even in his case, he's been caught up with, but the worst is going to happen to him is like you can retire now with all your millions if you consider it like that.
Yeah, I know. And if he's found guilty of all this stuff, he needs to go to prison.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if there is like court proceedings or any such on it.
Well, it's
Well,
just
then,
like the song "Lifestyle to the Rich and Famous."
Hell,
You have the cash to pay
JJJ
for a cock
Jr.
grant. UJ, hello.
I never know exactly how to say that name because there's so many J's.
Well,
J.
I call him QJ because I think Sonya called him that originally. So it's just became a habit to call him QJ. Awesome
but
guy.
And
yeah,
this man, he's already in his 60s, and you can be sure he's a millionaire. And the only thing that's happening is, oh, you're canceled, and it's like nobody's picking up his book deals, his movie deals anymore. He can retire happy, having been the biggest fucking pervert you ever seen, and that's it. The end.
well, in cases like this, I think that all of his assets needs to be seized and have him go into the system, basically. You
Okay, I
know?
get that. I mean, he needs the harshest punishment. I would even say castration, but I would also say he shouldn't have this harsh punishment unless it's proven without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. If he's proven guilty in a court of law, to the, I mean, it's hashed out and everything's out
I
in the
get that.
open.
And I know the law, the court systems is the only systems we have, but I don't have a lot of confidence in them.